Do you make a lot of mistakes in 2024? Did you fail some exams? Did you cram for your exams? Did you procrastinate like crazy? Was your screen time 10 hours a day? And did you do everything that you said you would literally not do in 2024? If that is the case, then you need to watch this video, because in this video, I'm going to go over how you can make 2025 the absolute best year you've had, okay? Not just with your health, not just with your, mind, but I'm talking about, most importantly, at least with this channel, academically, how you can really make the academic comeback during 2025 and go from how you're doing right now to really destroying it. Now, what I'm going to share in this video literally got me that academic comeback and got me that 97 plus ATAR. Now, you might say to yourself, well, you say that all the time. No, out of all things, this genuinely is, because it was through reflection that I was able to figure out, okay, this is bad to do. This is good to do. Okay, let's improve, right? So because, I barely passed year 7 to 10, right? From year 7 to the start of year 11, I barely did well in school at all. I barely passed. I failed many exams. I had to reset many exams. And honestly, I didn't care, right? I just played games all day. So when I told myself that I want to make an academic comeback and achieve a high ATAR, it was pretty hard to do, because I had to really sit down and reflect on multiple years, not just 1 year, multiple years of messing up. And I had to extract the lessons from that. I had to extract the mistakes that I've made. And I had to make sure that I used all of that to make year 11 a good year and then year 12 a good year. And what was the result of that? Well, let me tell you. In year 11, I done better than I did from year 7 to 10. However, I was still doing average. So I was getting around 70%, but that was still better than failing. But by applying the same steps that I'm about to go over in this video, I went from doing average in year 11 to absolutely dominating it in year 12, right? And because of that, I was able to also dominate the year after year 12 in uni, right? And then I'd like to say that, at least for me personally, I'm using the same exercises to dominate things like exercise, reading, making videos like this, right? So anyway, let's just get started with the video and what to do. It's very, very important. And it's very, very important that you take action right now. At the time of this video, it's currently the 31st of December, 2024. So it's a perfect time to do this. But even if you're not watching it in December, just do it whenever you can, okay? Like now, right? So let's get started. What do you need to be doing to make 2025 your best year yet? First things first, I want you to get a physical journal, or at least open up a Google Doc, whatever you're more comfortable with. And I want you to first put a brain dump in, okay? So just write whatever's on your mind. I'm sure that if you really think about it, you have a bunch of things on your mind about how you went in 2024. So I want you to just go over that, right? Just write it down, get it off your chest. Once you've done the brain dump, I want you to then write down the mistakes. Write down the mistakes that you made in 2024, the mistakes you made in term 1 EB12, or whatever what year you're in watching this video, okay? So what's some examples of these mistakes? For example, did you procrastinate too much? Did you leave things to the last minute? Did you watch too much Netflix? Did you not study properly, right? Just everything, every mistake that can come to your mind, I want you to really make sure that you write that down, okay? And really just get it off your chest. Don't, you don't want to lie about anything, okay? You know the mistakes you made. You definitely do. So don't try to cover the things that you don't want to write. No, it doesn't matter what the mistake was. Even if it's a mistake that you don't want anyone else knowing about, I don't care. Write it down, okay? Now, once you've written the mistakes, I then want you to write down the lessons, okay? What are the lessons you've learned from 2024, right? Maybe a lesson could be to make sure that you start planning your week more, throughout school. I mean, that's a lesson I'm telling you right now to write down if you haven't done that already. Maybe a lesson is to, not become complacent just because you're doing well. Or maybe the lesson is that your mindset is the most important thing, therefore you should work on your mindset. Whatever it is, as you can tell, by the way, guys, it's kind of hard for me to give you a lesson because the lessons are personalized to you, okay? My lesson might not be the same as your lesson, right? And then once you've written down all your lessons, I then want you to write down, what am I going to do differently for 2025, okay? So here I want you to actually list down what are the actionable things you're going to do differently in 2025 to make sure that you do better than 2024. So in my personal case, when I was going from year 11 to 12, I know what I was doing differently was getting ahead. Okay, in year 11, I didn't really get ahead. But in year 12, I was like, you know what? I'm going to really get ahead of the content. So that's what I did, and that's how I ended up smashing it. Another, personal thing that I did differently is I wrote to myself that I was going to make sure that I read every single day, like read a book, right? To develop my mind. You get the idea. Okay, so just a quick recap before I move on. Brain dump, first of all, mistakes, lessons, and then what you're going to do differently for the next year. Okay. Now, once you've done that, are you done? No. I want you to write down the wins that you've achieved during 2024. What achievements have you gotten? Okay. Now, this could include any marks that you're happy with, right? Maybe, you got like 90% in an exam, whatever it is. Or maybe it's something that's even apart from academics, like maybe you exercised more than you did last year, right? Or maybe you, achieve the goal of traveling somewhere. Whatever it is, the point is to write down some form of win, some form of gratitude. And if you're going to sit there and say in the comments down below, but I don't have any wins, that's a complete lie. Yes, you do. You're breathing. You're watching this video. You have eyes. That's their wins, okay? That's something to be grateful towards, all right? Now, that is the first part of making 2025 your best year yet. Okay, first thing is reflection. Arguably the most important thing. So reflection, mistakes, lessons, what you're going to do differently, etc. Now, if you're doing this properly, this should be very painful to do because reflection by nature is a painful exercise to do because you're literally examining your life and then writing a solution for it. It's very uncomfortable to do, but that's how you know you're doing it right. In fact, if it's too easy, if it takes you 5 minutes to do, that's how you know you're doing it wrong. Nice, that's the first thing. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to set your goals, okay? Yes. I want you to write down what you want to achieve in 2025. Okay. Now, I can make a whole video on this about how to set goals in itself, and if that's something you want me to do, make sure you let me know. Okay, I can definitely do that for you. What goal ATAR do you want to achieve? What goal marks do you want to get? What goal ranks do you want to get for each of your subject? What goals mentally do you want to achieve? Maybe you want to read a book every single day or read 30 minutes every day. What goals physically do you want? Maybe you want to exercise 3 times a week. Even spiritually, what goals spiritually do you want, right? All this stuff I want you to write goals for. Now, I don't want you to overdo this, okay? My personal suggestion is to have like 5 things that you want to achieve, okay? And your most important goal is the ATAR, okay? Truth be told, if you're a student right now who wants to do well, who wants to achieve that high ATAR, your number one goal for school should be, or for 2025, should be to achieve that ATAR. That is literally your number one goal, okay? So don't set the goal of starting a business or something, right? Because that's just going to distract you from the main thing, which is to get the ATAR, okay? In fact, I would recommend you guys to actually sit down and write to yourself on this is what I did. I took a sticky note and I wrote down to myself the number one priority. And I wrote this at the start of year 12 in the summer holidays. I wrote down to myself, the number one priority is achieving a 95 ATAR. And I stuck it on my wall, okay? So I read it every single day. And the reason why this is so important is because of focus. You don't want to be distracted by other things. If you're serious about achieving a high ATAR, you cannot be distracted by anything else. That being said though, obviously you can still achieve other things. For example, in year 12, I had the goal of reading every single day. I had the goal of exercising every single week, 3 times a week. You get the idea, right? Although you're setting those 5 goals, the main important thing is the academic one, because this is a very critical time in your life. If you want to achieve that ATAR, you only have one shot at it. You really do. So don't get distracted by other things. So far we have reflected, we have set the goals, and now I want you to do one more thing to make sure that you make 2025 your best year yet. I want you to organize the crap out of your life, okay? And I want you to design your new life. What do I mean by this? First of all, I want you to organize your actual physical environment. Organize your desk. Actually clean your desk. Get a spray, get a wipe, clean your desk. Then I want you to organize your books, right? Organize everything, make your room clean, do your cupboard. Yes, literally everything. Just clean your life physically. Because if you clean your life physically, it's going to clean your mind. Now, once you've cleaned it physically, I then want you to clean it and organize it digitally. So if you use a laptop, which you should be, organize your laptop or organize your computer, get the files ready, delete random crap. I'd go as far as to even saying to organize your phone, unless you really want to keep specific photos, right? But even me, I'm going to be deleting a lot of photos off my phone. Just completely start new, okay? Once you've organized yourself, once you've organized your books, once you've organized the files and the binders for school, I then want you to design your new life. What does that mean? I want you to actually write it down. Do not have this mentally. If you have this mentally, you're not going to do it. I want you to open up a Google Doc. This is what I use. And I want you to write down your routines. What is your morning routine? What is your evening routine? What is your night routine? What is your study routine? And then I want you to also set boundaries for yourself. For example, my boundaries for 2025 is to not go on the phone 1 hour before bed. All digital devices off, right? Don't go on your phone 1 hour before bed. That's one of the rules and principles that I've set for myself in 2025. Another rule for myself is to not use my phone first thing in the morning. You get the idea. Whatever the principles that you want to follow, whatever the boundaries you want to set for yourself, write them down, okay? Now, once you've designed your ideal routine and your ideal life, I want you to print out this Google Doc and I want you to stick it on your wall. My routine is right next to me on my desk so I can see it, okay? And then one last thing I want you to do is something that is kind of a advanced trick and something that no one does, but it's probably the best thing ever. It's writing down who your ideal self is. I want you to actually open up a Google Doc and I want you to write down in as comprehensive detail as possible who the ideal version of yourself is. So right now, let's say, for example, you're someone who's lazy, who procrastinates, who doesn't do well in school, who, I don't know, has a very high screen time. I want you to write what you're trying to achieve. So for me, when I was in about to go into year 12, I wrote to myself, I'm a student who wakes up at 5 a.m. every single day. At the time, I wasn't doing that, but I want to do that. I'm a student who wakes up at 5 a.m. every single day. I study super hard. I study harder than everyone else does. I study 8 hours a day, and I study very, very focused, etc., etc. You get the idea, right? And I can't really tell you what to write because only you know what your ideal self is, okay? But this is very important. I want you to write this down and I want you to read this alongside your goals 2 times every single day, morning and night, every single day of 2025, okay? And finally, one last thing, okay? This video is already about over 10 minutes long. One last thing I want you to do is I want you to have the warrior mentality. And I want you to treat 2025 like it's an actual war, okay? Because it is a war. Okay, if you want to achieve that high ATAR, if you want to make an academic comeback, if you want to become the best version of yourself, you are absolutely delusional to think that it's easy. It's literally a war. A war is an aggregation of battles. And when it comes to the ATAR, you have the mental battle of stress, anxiety, doubts. Then you have the physical battle of studying, right? Using the right study methods. Then you have the battle of balancing your time to make sure you don't burn out. Then you have the other battle of time management, etc., etc., etc. So I want you to have the mentality that 2025 is a war, and if you have a war upcoming, you're gonna slack off. If you have let's imagine you're actually preparing for a war. You're gonna just joke around and treat 2025 or this war like, it's a nice new war for me. No, it's serious. And I want you to take it seriously, okay? Because 99% of people, 99% of students, another year is just another year for them. It's not a new chance for them to grow. Most people will not be doing what I'm saying in this video. In fact, I won't be surprised if this video has, lower views compared to all my other videos. Because people just don't care about this stuff. And that's why they stay the same every single bloody year. And also to make sure that 2025 becomes the best year that you've had so far, you just need to make sure that you've done better than last year. Sounds very obvious, but in order for a year to be the best one you've had so far, you don't have to achieve everything. You just have to be better than you were in 2024. So that is the end of this video. Please make sure you take action because all this stuff sounds nice on paper, but at the end of the day, you need to do it. And you need to actually follow what I've said, okay? If you enjoyed this video, please let me know down below in the comments and suggest any other future videos that you'd like me to make. Be sure to like, subscribe, and also, if you're a student right now who wants to start 2025 doing all the right things and prepare themselves in the best way possible so that they can achieve that desired ATAR that they want and make that academic comeback and just become the best version of yourself, then you might like the first link in the description. But whether you click on that or not, please make sure you take this year seriously. And I don't want you to finish 2025 being like, I've achieved nothing, okay? So that's enough of me talking. Get on, get to work, no playing around, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.